Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone, wherever you're listening to us from. This is African Albinism Network, and today we are here to have a conversation around today. That is International Women's Day, and this is the day set aside by the UN to celebrate women's contribution to the world's progress and development, and also identify challenges and other hindrances that are impediments on their ways to further, contribute into the development of this world. And today we want to have a conversation with women with albinism to identify what contributions they are making into their society, their schools, their workplaces, and also, as the team says, or the campaign team says today, breaking the bias. We want to also identify some of the biases that women with albinism face, and then how we can break such biases. And I have special guests with me, 3 ladies who have joined us today from representing various regions in Africa, from West Africa to East Africa to Southern Africa. And I don't want to take the opportunity from them to introduce themselves. So I will allow them to do that by themselves, one after the other. And here I will call, before then, my name is Kwame Andrews Dakulo, the Communication Officer for African Albinism Network. And I'll call on, where do we start from? West Africa, East Africa, or Southern Africa? Probably let's start from the West. So I'll call on Maunyo to introduce herself and tell us something brief about herself, her contribution to the society, her community, and the albinism community or the disability community in general. Maunyo.
Yes, thank you very much, Andrews, and good evening. Hello, everybody, and also hello to my my fellow panelists as well. Okay, so my name is Mawunyo Yako Dagba, and well, I'm a twin with albinism. Yes, and I have a twin sister with albinism. I have another brother with albinism, and then one other brother without albinism. Anyway, so well, I'm currently the well, first of all, by profession, I'm an accountant by profession. Currently, an assistant director of audit with the audit service of Ghana. And by advocacy, I'm currently the national president of the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations. I'm also the first vice president of the West Africa Federation of the Disabled, and also on the consultative board for the Africa Albinism Network. I think I'll leave it there.
Oh, Maunyo, you have a long list. Even you are trying to exclude some, but that is already long.
Yes.
Don't hide. Give us more.
Yes.
That's gifty.
Yeah, personally, I know Maunyo and I've worked closely with her. I still work closely with Maunyo. She's a great personality in the disability community, and she currently leads the disability community in Ghana. She has been doing a great work in the albinism community as well. In addition to her twin sister, you may not know both of them. Maybe they can even switch on this platform. That is how close they are. Yeah, so from West Africa, let's go to the East. Yes, Olive from Uganda.
Hello.
Hello, Olive.
Hello, team. Do you hear me?
Yes,
yes, we do.
Okay, my name is Olive Namtebi, seated in Kampala, Uganda. I am the executive director at Albinism Umbrella, a local NGO that I co-founded. I sit on the National Steering Committee of the National Action Plan on Albinism. For those countries that have gone through this, you know, maybe it may not have been hard, but outside it's really hard. What do? I'm a mother of 1 son. I love God. And I'm happy to be on this platform. I guess that's enough. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Albinism Umbrella co-founder. This is great, and I'm glad to have these personalities on this platform today. And I'm sure this is going to be a great conversation. Yes, so from East Africa, then let's go to the South for another greatness, I'm sure. Hi, Gift.
Hi. Okay.
Hello.
So my name's a gift. Are you able to get me?
Yeah, you are loud and clear.
Okay. Okay. So my name's a gift Sakala from Zambia, and I'm the director in Albinism Multipurpose. Specifically, I'm dealing with women, and I'm also the
Video, please.
coordinator. I'm on.
Can Gift give us a video, please? Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So I'm the director, Albinism Multipurpose Organization in Zambia. And specifically, I deal with women in the organization. And I'm also the coordinator from Pulungu, so the district community inclusive based development. And yeah, currently I'm the chairperson for Zambia Albinism Task Force here. So yeah, so what do I do? Oh, also I'm a psychosocial counselor by profession. And from the family of four, I think I'm the only person with albinism. And most of the things that I do around is just advocacy, albinism, and the disability as a whole. Yeah, I think I can hang there. Thank you.
Wow, nice to meet you three. These are great women doing great things. Their contributions are enormous in the disability community as well as the albinism community. And we are glad to have you today on this platform. And these are great opportunities for us to brainstorm some of your contributions and also identify some of the biases that women with disabilities or women with albinism face in our communities, in our schools, and also in our society. Like so this is going to be an interactive session. I would throw out some questions and which all of you have the opportunity to answer, and just feel free to express yourself. And if you can tell us specific stories of biases you've experienced, yeah, that is great. And that is what we want. And we find ways together to break these biases, as the theme of today says. So the first question is going out. Whoever wants to take it first. Yeah, well, so what is your view about the theme for this year's International Women's Day? Like, let's focus on break the bias. Yeah, what can you give us, say, a minute of your view on today's theme? Let me take it from Gift again, since you have just spoken. So Gift, can you take it from there? What are your views on today's theme? Do you think it's relevant? Do you think it fits for purpose?
Yes, it fits perfectly well. You know what, breaking the bias. I think it's high time we realize that it all starts with women, and breaking the bias, just somebody telling you to say, you have to break the barrier for you to thrive. For you to achieve the next level, it has to start with us to push forward to say, okay, for me, I want to do that. And from that moment, when you encounter a challenge in your life, you just have to say no. If somebody makes you uncomfortable and you are like, no, from there, then you confront them, and then, yes. So breaking the bias, for me, it is a very good thing. Highlighting a lot of things. Let's just remove all the challenges and let us tell the women to say, okay, you can move forward. You know, one thing that is there is when you do the awareness, when you do the education, and after that, what follows, it is us to have the interest to do that. And then you say, okay, I'm moving into this, which is, okay, let's say male dominated. And then for that time, you are moving into that because the male have been there to say, okay, let's bring them on board. So they should also help us to move forward to achieve our goals. And they should make sure that we thrive as well with them. Together, we can do these things. So I think it's fantastic.
That's very fantastic submission here. Everyone needs to be carried along. No one needs to be left behind. And that is exactly what Gift is saying. That's the men. You have been there and you need to carry the women along to also reap the benefits that comes with their intelligence, their calmness, that they naturally hold. Yes, Maunyo, I'm moving from the east to the west. What's your view on today's theme?
Yes, I think the day's theme is spot on. Very relevant. It's high time we as women take on actions that enable the world see how competent we are, how bold we are, and how beautiful we are. Because a lot of empowerments have gone on, trainings have gone on, and I think it's time we offer ourselves for even leadership positions, that we take opportunity, even as much as we are fighting for affirmative action that will create a space for us at the table. I believe that it's also time for we ourselves to also take on some of these responsibilities and then demonstrate to the world that we are capable people. And so, yes, we will continue to break the biases. Yes.
Thank you so much. We can only continue to break the biases as they exist. And I hope one day these biases will no have an equal world. Yeah, Olive, you are itching to talk.
Thank you so much, host.
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Do you hear me?
Very clear, Olive.
Yeah.
Take it on.
Okay. Thank you. Commenting on today's theme, breaking the bias. I was just chatting before the call began that I'm tired. I'm from an event at a university and they were celebrating women. One of the areas that really stood out, of course, being at the university, was women who have broken the bias in the academia, in business, in various fields. And one thing I know, maybe I will speak for my country, honestly, women have really stood up to break the bias. We had some honorable members of parliament, and it was a great time. So looking at globally, women in a way, even when we can say perhaps we have 20% of women in the boardroom or in parliaments, yet the biases are still there. I will speak on behalf of our former speaker, the woman Speaker of Parliament. She recalls a situation where she was a minister and delegated by our government, and she was told to quit, said, no, that's not your position. Somebody was coming, thinking she's just a guide to somebody else. So the biases are still there, even when we push. So we also need to know that there are spaces that we really just have to force ourselves there. Now I'll talk for people with albinism. The biases are more. And looking at today's theme, as even just reflecting, and I'm like, this suits the albinism community more than anything, because the biases, the stereotypes, the myths, like for me, it was home. I'm excited about today's theme. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Olive, for such a wonderful submission. And the biases are everywhere, and they are more even expansive for people with albinism, especially women with albinism. let me even take it further. Women and girls with albinism face even more biases due to their skin color, their gender, and even their disability. Yes, so I would like to know, at least in general, what is the situation of women with albinism like in your country specifically? Say Ghana, Uganda, and Zambia, or by extension, West Africa, East Africa, or Southern Africa. If you can give a general overview on that. I think, Olive, if you can take that again. What is the general situation of women with albinism in your region or specifically in your country? Just a brief. Hello, Olive. Yeah, Olive, can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and
Oh,
clear.
yes, I can. In brief, really, the situation of women. Okay, the situation of women with albinism in Uganda in general. One, they are living below the poverty line. Many are not educated, and many are still hidden, if I can say, and there is a higher level of family neglect. And I can say many of, okay, generally people with albinism have been raised by either foster parents or grandparents, not by their own biological parents. Perhaps the mothers, some mothers have stood more than the fathers. So the situation is not good. Though I need to balance it that there are few that are really standing up to the occasion. Those are few, because right now we can register around 5 girls who have gone to the university. So yeah, the future is bright. We have some few that are coming up. Thank you.
This is very profound, as you said. Some are still hidden, and most are raised by their grandparents. But we still have a pinch of light somewhere that a few are still coming up, and we hope that the future will be better. Yes, Maonyo.
Yes.
What is the situation in Ghana? Is it the same as described by Olive?
Yes, yes, yes. Very similar experience from Ghana and by extension West Africa. A lot of children with albinism drop out of school. Some don't even go to school at all because of parents actually hiding them, not wanting society to know that they have these children. You know, and then also with the challenges of even being in school with low vision. So when you struggle to go to the school and you're not able to see from the board and all of that, and you are struggling, coupled with the teasing, the name calling, you are likely to not feel accepted, not feel part of the community, and you tend to like hide and we hide, and that actually affects your self-esteem. Actually affects your self-esteem and overall your performance later in life, your outlook of things, all of that gets to be affected. And so you see that many women with albinism lack the confidence that they. But I believe that it's changing. The situation is changing as they get to see a few people who are there, who are demonstrating that they are capable. They also come out of their shells, and we can only hope for better. Some of us joined this advocacy because we didn't want other children to go through the same experiences. And we are seeing that we are encouraging parents to send their children to school, being there to support however little we can, to encouraging them. For some, that is all. On a daily basis, the questions I get from parents, you can't imagine. From what can I do for this child? Should I put salt in the food because of the meat or that? And you break it down, you explain to them, and they are excited. I'm happy to say that fathers are also, there are some fathers who are becoming very responsible of their children. There are good examples. And so we can only hope for the best. Yeah.
We are still in the area of hope.
Any engagement, I'm the one next.
Yes, we are still in the area of hope. I think the situation
Yes.
is similar from West Africa to East Africa.
Yes.
Should there be even better hopes from Southern Africa? Are you giving us more?
Yes, for us, there is more hope. You know what is happening right now? Here, yes, like the way the ladies have explained it, yeah, it is also happening here. But here, because when they said albinism is a disability, we were engulfed in the disability sector. And in Zambia, people with disability have got shares. Let's say if the people with disabilities. Hi.
Yeah,
Are you able to get me?
I was saying your voice was a bit baffly, so if you can put off your video, probably that will help it out.
Oh, okay, let me do so. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so for us here in Zambia, it's a little bit I think it is improving, because the moment they said albinism is a disability, it really helped us a lot, because at the moment in every sector, when the private sector is employing and the government is employing, we've got the 10% for people with disabilities. So a lot of people with disabilities have been employed, like people with albinism have been employed in government as teachers, mainly as teachers, because most of them went to school for the visually impaired, and most of them thought teaching would be better for them. So we have seen a number of people with albinism who are teachers today, and it is very encouraging, because from their schools and in their schools that they have been before, and people are saying yes, they can do it, and when they go out there to teach about that child who is back at home, okay, they can also make it. And yes, we cannot just shout from the fact that there are some who have been living with grandparents, and most grandparents, they are back in the villages, and they are replaced to those places, and while they're staying there, they lack a lot of things, and they're still there, and people don't know how to handle them and how to care for them. I think so we are still moving towards achieving that, because mostly people in the urban areas are getting more than those that are in the rural areas, because of the issue of hiding and the beliefs. We've got children who are not also going to school because they believe that maybe as they're going on their way, they might be attacked, and it's still so sad. And sexual violence, not to forget it, it is still going on, and we hope that there will be much will be done so that we can end all this.
Sure, that's a bit of a hope from the Southern Africa. I personally experienced such kind of, a better position of at least people with disabilities or people with albinism in South Africa, where many are employed by the government institution. I think these are something other countries from West and East can also use to empower women and people with disability in general. That includes people with albinism as well. Yeah, thank you, three of you, for your great submissions. Let's see, now I'll be a bit personal here. Yes, this is to you. I just realized that I'm the only man here. Let me pray I don't become a bully here. So yes. So the question is, how does your condition, you are first a woman, that is an area of itself. Now adding a condition that is highly misunderstood, especially in Africa. How do you balance those two, a woman and then a woman with albinism? How does that work out in your workplace, in your society, anywhere you go? How do you balance that? Yes, any of you ready to take? These are like a bit personal, so I will relax it. Then if you are ready to take it, you can. How do you balance being a woman and being a person with albinism? Does it impact your work? Does it have any implication for your work? Does it have any implication for you living in a society? Or by extending actually daily lives? Maunyo, I'm sure you're itching to go ahead.
I thought you said you don't call anybody. Hey, anyway, Andrews rightly said it. Being a woman and being a woman with albinism means that you have suffered twice, or if not multiple.
This is double jeopardy.
Multiple.
Yes.
Oh, okay, you're even making it multiple.
It's a very difficult situation, but I believe that we have overcome, and so we are able to play our roles as expected. But there's always that that questioning stare or eyes, or even yourself. There's always that internal pressure to outdo things, to ensure that that thing goes wrong, you know, because you don't want anyone to feel that, oh, it's because she's a woman. So it's difficult as a woman, and from inside myself, I'm a mother of 3 children, a wife, and you don't want anyone, let's say at work or even organized, to think that, oh, because she's a woman, because she's a mother, you want to make, you don't want to create that excuse. And so you need to work, and sometimes it's tiring, but well, by God's grace, we get the strength to do all that is required of us or for myself. And so by all means, the gender intersection, they always come in, and you always have to demonstrate that is your capability. You are able to do that. You are able to do whatever you are expected to do. And I am happy that now all around us we are beginning to see women or women with albinism in other spheres which were male dominated. I'm happy to see some of these examples. Yes. And so it's been okay. It's been okay.
Yeah, I think that's great. But Maunyo, would you be able to give us a specific example of a bias that you've experienced, either at work or in the society?
Well, at school, in fact, at the basic level, and I must say that really affected me to some extent. You know, at the basic level, for instance, when they are appointing leaders, school prefects, and all of those roles, is the teachers who will. And so you know you are one of the best students. You know, your teachers also know.
Exactly.
They praise you. You hear comments like, oh, she can be a school prefect, a guest prefect. And so you are expecting. I remember in basic school, I actually wept when at the assembly they were called, and then they handed me what do we call it? Office girl. Like you go and tidy up the headmistress office, and in fact, and they make sure that the books are all back. That is all, and not the school prefect. I ran to the washroom that afternoon. I wept. Oh. And for me, that really affected me, even through to secondary school, where at that level you can pick a form, nominate yourself. Even at that point, I felt like, well, they didn't believe in me. That means I couldn't be a leader. So when people was like, oh, you pick a form, I said, no. I wasn't interested, you know. But even as a little girl, I believe that I was a leader, you know. Even if I remember the way I wept at that when the selections were made and I was not asked to be a school prefect, and the way I wept, it was deep down. I just felt that it was a bias. I was discriminated against because I'm a girl with albinism. And well, I believe that in tertiary, then I joined some associations, future leaders. Then there I took a leadership position over the women's leader position there. And I think from there on, also at church, also joined the student union, then was secretary for 2 roles. And then there's this thing. I told myself that no, mom, we're not going to go for any secretarial positions anymore, because you get to find out that it's always the men. And then it's like, usually the secretarial position, the secretary position is always a woman. And so I told myself that no, if I was going to contest in the position, it was not, I was tired of being secretary. I will not be secretary anymore. It's not that I'm going for the presidency or it's nothing else, you know. And that here we are, became president of GAPA and then moved on to become president of the federation and on and on. So now I'm beginning to realize my full potential, but what happened at the basic level nearly killed what the world is seeing today. If not that at the tertiary, I quickly, you know, I overcame that bad experience and quickly got together, and this is where we are. So this is something I want to share. And I think it should not happen. You shouldn't kill people's interests, you know, and the biases are there. And we can only pray that society is accommodating, is understanding, and that they make an equal level playing field for everybody to come, and not that they pick. They use biases and prejudice and all that to take some people out. And I think there were others as well who have also suffered these kind of situations, and that has actually affected, and it is a big loss to the world or the country, not even themselves. Exactly. I believe so, and we need to watch it carefully. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this personal experience, and I'm glad you have been able to come out of that situation to become a leader and still emerging to be a leader even at the continental level. And this is great, and we hope that those younger generations coming on will learn from your experience and will not be deterred by anyone to become a leader or whoever they want to be. Yes, Olive, what do you have to say? How does you being a woman with albinism impact you as a person or at your work? And if you can give us an example of a bias that you face or experience.
Thank you so much. My network is unstable. I'm going to do without the video. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, first of all, as a woman, I mean, we always say being a woman is discrimination enough, is bias enough. Then a woman with disability, not any other disability, but albinism, that comes with their own bias. I would say at work, because I'm a leader and this is an organization you found, the biases may at times be hidden from you. But it's interesting that even though at that place, I have some male people in my organization, and at times the response you get, you really know there is this bit of, but you're a woman, or you should not talk to me like that, you know? Just as employees in our organization who seem to carry that kind of masculine, you know, the male to female kind of respect that, yeah, you know how the African tradition is. And I'm like, okay, you forget I am your supervisor, a woman or not. So yeah, negatively that happens. But recalling an example of, I could say generally for me, it has opened some doors. I don't know, either through sympathy or the women movement in Uganda has grown so much that somehow they expect a woman, but it has been more positive than negative. Of course, one of the examples I remember when I was still working in the bank, there is this supervisor of mine who had just come in the bank, and he had a very big bias about my role as a bank manager then. And then he said, you have albinism and you're in this good position. I was managing strategic planning and business development, which really involved at times having engagements with high level people. So he categorically came to me and said, but you know, you have albinism, it's a disservice. Do you think you can do this role? I mean, I look at this guy and I'm like, really? Is that a reason for you to doubt my ability to do my work? So yeah, these biases are there, and sometimes they are very confrontational, and I've learned to go around that. Thank you.
Wow, this is so because of your you not only even being a woman, but just because of your disability or albinism, he was doubting your potential of managing that strategic position.
Yep.
Wow, this is serious, and we
Yeah.
hope that these biases are broken in the
Mhm.
either now or in the near future, as we have conversation around these kind of things. Yes, gifts. If you are listening, Leah, let's hear from your end.
Oh, yes. For me, I would say what I've did it first. Okay, the negative part of this whole thing, I would say there was this time, I think what I joined the movement, the albinism community, and I said I would walk into the advocacy. So when I started my work in advocacy, you can note that from Zambia, you always had men doing the advocacy for people with albinism. And for me, and you know, this issue of advocating, it doesn't really require you to have that soft voice and that tendency in you. Sometimes you have just to lose it, to pack it and say, okay, let's do this. And you know, our culture, a woman has to be soft-hearted, you have to be so caring and all those. But when it comes to these issues, we don't really need somebody who needs to care, because you have to talk to people strongly and say, look, this is what we want, and we have to get it no matter what, because it is our right. And you know, a lot of people don't want that. And so they will tell you to say, you are a woman, and you are not supposed to talk like that. And I'm like, okay, that was the most challenging part, because every time I would feel that it was just too strong for a woman to speak like that. And I would say I nearly even gave up, was just like, let me just one of this, but I can't do it. But deep inside me, I was like, what if your child will go through this and you just have to get back and do this? And the other thing that really hurted me was like, even my fellow women felt like it was not supposed to be like that. I was not supposed to stand out and talk. And that was also a very big challenge, because I was thinking the women would support, but they were also on the other side opposing it. And with time, because of this gender, I think I've gotten to a level where, with the inclusion of women in everything, I would say maybe by luck or whatever, I'm getting some motivation, because when they say, okay, we need also a woman, and they would look around and they say, okay, the only woman we can say who is active in this area is this one. So I think positively it has made me to be where I really want to be, and also to achieve what I really want to achieve. Because mostly I would tell, if I'm talking to a man, I just like, look straight into my eyes and let's have this conversation. I don't want you to look down what I'm wearing, because at some extent, you would say my dressing, most of the times you'll find me in trousers. And I'm like, don't look at what I'm here wearing down there. I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not going to wear a skirt, but I'll wear a trouser, so that when you look down, you've got nothing to see, and you see my face and you hear what I have to say. And most of the time, I think positively, it has enabled me to push further, and also to be recognized, I would say. Thank you.
That's so wonderful and straightforward. You better look into the person's eye and don't look down there. No, I really like that. Yes, Gift, I'm still on your end. So you've given out some biases that you think are still existing in our society. what do you think should be done to, in a way, break these biases? What should we be doing? What are we doing right? And what should we be doing even better to break these biases?
So what we can do, you know, for me, I believe when you are raising a child, start from there. You tell the child to say, okay, you are a girl, but you've got full potential to do whatever you want. Start from awareness raising, educating them to say, you can do this, you can do that. Because most of these biases that we are facing, it's because of what we were taught back then. It is because of what our cultures has pressed into us to say, okay, this is the repercussions. But if we can move away with the repercussion and tell people to say, okay, you can do it, she can do it. The only difference is the biological makeup. That is the only difference. She has got brains. She can think just like you can think, you know. You put your male child and your female child, you sit them down and talk to them. And to the adults, we continue with the awareness raising. And with the women who get the opportunities to be up there, they shouldn't spoil it for other women who would want to go up there. They have to make sure that they work hard so that even in the next future, men can see something. Because, you know, if there is a person who can work with full dedication, it is a woman. There is just something God has placed into a woman. And when a woman touches it, oh gosh, you can be shocked. And if those people, you get a chance, you do it nicely so that as we are going, people can say, women can really do it with full dedication. And the other thing is men shouldn't just stop on awareness raising and educating, but they should also go with us through this. It is a process. It is a learning process. Okay, we've started this in between because we didn't start it when we were born. We started it somewhere in the middle. So they have to make sure that we work together so that we can achieve more. It shouldn't only be awareness, but we should also work together so that we can achieve more and start looking at what somebody can offer, not who they are, what color they are, and where they are coming from, but look at what more they can offer and think about the bright future that you can build together. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, this is so great. I'm so much motivated. Maunyo, do you agree with what Gift is saying, or you have something to add?
Oh, yes, I agree with her 100%. And just to add that, so in terms of education, I think we have done well. You remember those days, there was a whole campaign on send your girl child to school and, and all of that. Now, when you go to even our tertiary institutions, the girls outnumber the boys. They are taking all the first positions and the awards in medical school and all of that. But at the level of representation, like for instance, parliament, in our government, that is where there is work, there is more work to be done, because the numbers they are not reflecting the over 50% of the population. The numbers that in the teaching making are clearly not reflecting. And so, for instance, Ghana initiated an affirmative action bill, and there was a percentage of, for instance, 40%. Can you imagine that the current draft that we have, they've taken out all the percentages, and now it's like progressively, and I'm like, how?
Yeah.
How can we do this? We should do better. How can you say progressively? It feels like the men, some of the men feel their positions will be taken.
So,
But
like we feel threatened.
yes.
That should not even be the case.
Yes, we should not. We should not. We should create the opportunities for the women. We are ready to play the role, so they should create those opportunities. That is with the little I'll add.
Sure. Yeah, you should create more opportunity for women. They have the potential to do so. Olive, are you here?
Yeah.
Good.
Hello. Yes. One thing I can add, what we can do. Somebody has hinted about parenting. Yes, it all begins there. But even us, we may not turn time back. We can still do something. And I always say we need to be intentional on what we want to do. Being intentional is going out to bust every myth, to bust every bias, and, you know, hit it hard, you know. For instance, we have biases maybe in our education system where some subjects would favor boys and then girls will shun away. But as a parent, as a community leader, can you encourage that girl to take up that challenge? In the education system, I mean, we have teachers who are like, you know what, for you, if you're a girl, I think you should do this combination like at A level, advanced level. In a country, we have 2 years where someone chooses, let's say if you want to become a doctor, you do physics, chemistry, and biology. And then if it's a girl, they would be like, maybe instead of biology, for you, do math. You know, that is soft for you. No, stand up to that challenge. And I was encouraging ourselves that even if you feel you're not ready, do it afraid, but you do it.
Thank you, and thank you all. I think I'll just get, because the time is against us, so I'll get your final word. So what is your final word, advice, or words of encouragement to the public in general, and specifically to women and girls with albinism? I think I'll start from Mawunyo. What is your final word?
Yes. The gender is very important, the gender considerations and everything. And that can only be achieved if the women are at the decision-making level. Even the use of even washroom, sometimes you don't even think about the women. I mean, how safe is the place for their use and all of that. And then there are so many perspectives that the woman will always bring. And so society should allow women to function. They should support, but not to discourage them and then discourage them, but rather continue to support them. And also to my dear sisters with albinism, please don't shy away from leadership roles, from all that you can be. You can be all that you can. And just as Sister Olive said, just be intentional, gradually you get there. Yes, thank you.
Good, thank you, Maunyo, for such encouraging words. Yes, Olive, if you can hear me, what's your word for the general public and the albinism community?
Thank you so much. My general word to the public, many of the biases that they hold against us is we are unable, we are soft, we are this vulnerable community that perhaps just needs help. And we want to let the public know that we're moving away from the mode of charity to empowerment. So on the other hand, for the albinism community, these platforms are there. I will speak for my country. There are so many programs, the special grant, the disability grant, you know, but until we stand up as people with albinism, nobody will bring this on a silver platter. So I encourage our community to stand up and be counted, to be intentional. You know, this is a world of survival for the fittest. So if we bow down, it is we survive or we die. So it's a do or die. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's a do or die. Ladies out there, you have to stand up for the challenge and make sure you struggle your way through to the top. Yes, a gift, if you are here, what's your final word?
Yes, still with you. So my final word to the albinism community in Zambia and out there.
Your video, it's a bit screechy, so if you can maybe put off the video, then you can hear the voice.
Yes, yes, okay. So my advice to the community is we have to stand on our feet and know what's happening now. Okay. We have to know what we want. You know, we have to make a decision from the word go to say this is what we want. And fellow women, we have to support each other. It is very important. You know, according to statistics, we've got a number of women compared to men. So if it was to be an election, a woman stand, let us all come in numbers and vote for that woman. As long as there is that good leadership and we know that they can deliver, we can outstand men. And the other thing is, let us just know that our worth, that we are worth much more than what these or that the biases, what these all people are placing on us. Let us just stand on our grounds and believe in ourselves that we can. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies. This is a very wonderful conversation, and we should be able to share it widely for others to listen to. It's rather unfortunate we could not stream live on Facebook this conversation, but the recordings are going to go live on Facebook. Yeah, let's take a picture and do the sign before we close. So if you can do the sign, and I'll take a video. I'll take a screenshot. And probably then you have to put on your video to enable me do that. Okay, just a minute.
I hope I got it right.
Yeah, anyhow it goes, it's perfect. Yeah, so anyhow, either left, anyhow, it can be this way, it can be this way. So anyhow, it goes. Yes, so let's go. Are you ready?
Yeah, so
with the
breaking
smiles.
the bias.
Breaking the bias. Good.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies. Well done. And this is a great conversation. And we hope to do this more and more to get people listening and to get people taking actions. Thank you. And African Albinism Network is grateful for your time, for your conversation, for this great opportunity you have given unto us. And we hope that people will take their time and listen to this conversation and learn from it and take action and actually break these biases. Thank you and have a good evening.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew.